Hello everyone and welcome to our Divi feature update live. Today we'll be talking about the new customizable visual builder. So this show comes to you live every Monday, 6 a.m. Eastern. So we cover all the latest features in our latest releases. So we'll be covering, before I go any further, I would like to say if you have any questions throughout this show, please leave them in the comments box. Today we'll be broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. So be sure to leave all your comments and we'll do our best to answer those. Okay, so let's go through the things that we'll be covering today. So firstly, we have added two brand new interaction modes for the visual builder, which are the click mode and the grid mode. Secondly, we can open all options toggles by default in the group settings. We can completely hide disabled modules. This is something that we didn't have before. So in this update, we are now able to do that. And also we can remove the Divi builder interface animation. So if it's something that you don't like, you can actually disable this and just have all your options just come on the screen. And also the control history state frequency can also be set in our new visual builder customizations. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing in today's live show is to go to a website where I've created a page and I'll showcase how these new features can be used. So without wasting a lot of time, let me show you how these new Visual Builder customizable options work. So here I am on my demo site. So by default, our Visual Builder works by using hover. Okay, so I'm just going to activate this. In fact, I'll refresh this page so that all my options show. Yeah, so by default, you can see here when I move my mouse, the hover state is activated by default. And this is what you see when you first switch on to the Visual Builder. So let me show you where all these new features are. And so if you haven't updated to your latest Divi update, be sure to do that because without that you won't be able to see these features. Okay, so let me show you where this is. If I come over here to the bottom of the page where we have this expand settings, if I click once on that, you'll notice that it expands. And then over here to the extreme left, you have these three little buttons, okay, three little dots. So this is the telltale sign that there's something new, okay? It's quite easy, it's quite difficult to spot if you haven't paid attention to this area of the page. So here, if I click on this, now we get all these new customizable features. So right here on the top, we have our default hover mode. So the two brand new additions are the click mode and the grid mode. So all you have to do to activate them is to click on them, okay? So by default, this is what your Visual Builder looks like. And then if you click here, you can see right here at the bottom that we've added the that hover mode. And then if I click the second one, that's the click mode. And then if I click on the third one, that is the grid mode. Okay, so these are the features here. I will explain them after I've gone through these first two. So I'm just going to close this for now and show you how this works. So if you want to use one of these, all you have to do is to activate them. So by default here, this is the one that's activated, which is the hover mode. Okay, so you can see here as I'm hovering, all our options now show, and then now we'll be ready to click. Now, before, sometimes when you hover over these, you'll find that it would be quite tricky to add a module depending on how they are stacked. So this new feature now resolves that. So if I come over here and activate the click mode like that, now when I hover, it shows the boundaries where all our modules end and also our sections and our rows. So this is now a fantastic feature because you are now able to see where all your sections end. So if you want to say, for example, add more padding to this, you can visually see where where you need to add this and where these sections end. So to use this now, I am going to click like that. And what you'll notice is now that my mouse is away from that area, this module stays on the screen waiting for us to click to do the next action. So this is how the click mode works. So now I can go in and go into the settings, for example, make all my changes, save, and then after I've done all my changes, you notice that it disappears. So it gives us the opportunity to go in, do all our changes, and then after we've done that, we can either click away, save, and then it goes away, waiting for you to go to the next one. So if I come again over here, all I have to do is hover over it, click once, and then all my settings stay on this, all this stays on the screen like that, letting us know that this is the area where we need to make all our changes. So again, if I click the gear icon, I can go in, make my changes, click on save, and then it disappears. Now this doesn't only work on our modules, it also works on our sections and also our rows. So let's try that. If I come over here and hover on this area, if I click, now my row is activated, as you can see, and now it stays on the screen. So you can see here my mouse is away from that area. So if I click here again on the settings, I can now go in, make all my changes. Like let's say, for example, I need to add a background color. I can go in there, add my color like that, and then save, and then I can just leave. Okay, so that's how the click mode works. So it now makes things easier when it comes to designing elements on our page. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one now is the grid mode. So I'm going to activate it here. So just make sure if every time you want to use any of these new interaction modes, you have to come here and activate it. So if I click here on the grid mode, now notice what happens. Everything on the page that you're working on gets highlighted. Okay. Now this is fantastic because you are now able to visually see where everything is, and you can pinpoint and go directly to where you want to make your change. So let's say I want to come over here into this module. I can just click on it, come over here into design, for example. Maybe I need to add some animation. I'm going to add my fade like that, save. And once I've saved, you can notice that my grid stays on the page. Okay, so this goes throughout the whole page that we're designing. So the grid activates all the elements on our page like that. Okay, so before I continue and show you the next item, I'd just like to hear from you. Have you used this grid mode or click mode? And if you have, please give us a 1. If you haven't, please give us a 2. So this is both on Facebook and YouTube. Just leave your reactions in the comments so I can see. I can see here that quite a lot of you have tuned in. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate that, as always. Okay, I can see a lot of ones. Mundo del Arte. I mean, I always try to pronounce these names, but sorry if I got it wrong. She's got 5 ones. Fantastic. I can see more ones here. Francisco, Danielle, awesome. Saeed, Rob. Okay, we also have a few 2s. We have Brian here with a 2, Daniel with a 2. I've got a +1 from Edward. MV Digital. Okay, so that was YouTube. Let's go over here to Facebook and see how many. Oh, it looks like over here quite a few people haven't actually used this new mode. So here I can see we've got Tom, Angela, Kevin, Kirsty, Renee. Right. Okay, so this is something that you can use. Quite a lot of you have, in fact, I'll say it's a split between those who have used this new mode and those that haven't. Okay, So as you can see, this makes your experience to use the Divi builder much better, because visually you can see what is going on your page, and you can always go in and make all your customizations. Now, let's move on to the next thing, which is hiding your disabled modules. So to do that, all you have to do is to come to these three little dots here on the bottom. In fact, let me disable this grid mode. So to disable that, I'll just click on my hover mode, which is my default. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to the bottom left of the page. So here are all our options. Right, so here, the first option here is Divi Builder interaction mode. So you can actually customize this and have click mode to be the default mode. So after you've used these three modes, depending on which one you like the most, you can actually come over here and activate the one that you want. So I prefer to leave mine on click mode, so I'm going to select click mode. So now every time I open my visual builder, it's always going to be on click mode. Okay, so let's move on to the next item, which is the history state interval. So this, you can set it to after every 10th action, 20th action, and so on. But I just leave mine as default. And then let's move on to the settings module default position. So last used position could be something that you can use or fix to the left sidebar. Now, quite a few people have asked me how I set up my settings tab every time I design or I do some demos. So let me show you what I mean by that. So if I come over here and go into this module, you can see here that automatically all my text settings, all my module settings are snapping always to the left. So this is how I prefer doing it, because every time I make changes here, I can see it visually happening over here to the right, rather than me moving everything around. So that's something you can actually go in and make that change. Okay, so now here's another thing, builder interface animations. Okay, so if you don't like those animations, you can actually disable them here. So let me show you those animations again. So I'm going to close this. Right, so you can see here, when I come to the bottom of the page, there's animations. So let's say I click here like that. You can see there's an animation there. You can actually go ahead and disable this. So I'm going to come over here. So if I disable it like that, click away, close it. Now you can see there's no animation. Okay, so that's something that you can always set if you want to. Now the option is there. Now the next item is show disabled modules at 50%. Now you may want to, let's say for example, while you're building your page, want to disable some of these options. So let's go ahead and do that and show you what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and change my background color. In fact, I'm just going to get rid of it and save. Right, so if I come in here, let's say I want to disable this third one. So I'm going to click on it, click my module settings, and then over here, I'm going to come to advanced, visibility, and then I'm going to disable this, right? So it's disabled all on the phone, tablet, and desktop. Then I'm going to come over here and save. Right, so you can see here it's still visible, but if I change my modes here, it's still there. So now let me show you what you can do with that. So show disabled modules at 50% on. Now, if I switch that to off, all my disabled modules will not show at all. So you can see here, as soon as I've activated this or set it to off, this has disappeared. So that's something that you can actually come here and customize, and if that's how you prefer working. So I prefer leaving it at on at 50%, so I'll just leave it as it is for now. Right, now over here on the final one, in fact, yes, this is our final item I'm going to cover. The group settings into closed toggles. Now, let me show you what that is. So I'm going to close this one more time. So let's say I come over here to this module like that. So you can see here that if I need to go to the link, I have to click on it and then it opens and then closes everything else like that. So you can have this open everything if you wanted, if you prefer working that way. So let me come over here and set it up. So I'm going to come over here, click on group settings into closed toggles like that, close it. And now I'm going to come back over here, click my settings icon. Now, if you notice, everything is now open. Okay, so all I have to do now, if I need to make all my changes, oops, I'll need to go back into that. Okay. Right. What I was trying to say was, now all our items are open by default, so all you have to do now is to just scroll along the page and make all your settings. So this is something that you may want to do, or if you prefer working this way, that option is now there. So now our visual builder has all these features which you can go ahead and customize. So let me know what you think about all these changes in the comments. And also, if you have any questions around this Divi feature update today, you can leave all your comments in the comments box and we'll do our best to respond to those questions. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look at all our comments. So we have quite a lot of people here tuning in. Fantastic. I can see a lot of thumbs up. Unfortunately, I can't read that name. It's in a different language. Okay. I've put some comments here from MV saying, Augustine, you're the man. Thank you. Thank you. Amazing shapes. One. Awesome. We have quite a lot of comments here. I can't keep up with them. Okay, now this feature that I covered today, it can be accessed if you update your install of Divi. And also, I have also got some links in the show notes. So if you want to go in depth and read about these new customizable visual builder options, there's a link which I've included in the show notes, so you can go directly to that post and read that article. Secondly, if you're not a Divi member yet, I would recommend that you go and sign up for Elegant Themes and become a member and have access to all these features. We are constantly making Divi better and adding all these features to make web designing a very good experience. So all those links are in the show notes below. So I'd like to say to everyone that joined us today on this live show, thank you very much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate your time. And we'll be back again next Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you make a note in the calendar. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your week.